Story time. Time to continue the story of the four thieves. So you might want to get your popcorn, as Empress CJJ always recommends. Great content. Please follow her. Or as my guide said, stick a lollipop in your mouth if you can't wait. If you're impatient, they showed us as like children when you take them to the doctor and you give them a lollipop so they won't be so upset about what they have to deal with. So we're all sitting here with our popcorn and our lollipops and we're just trying to get through this, right? But my guides gave me this information about the four thieves. And so I wanted to continue that story. So this is for entertainment purposes only. My guides talk to me, they tell me stories, and then I share them with other people. So as you recall from the story, there was this con man, and he approached these three thieves and said, hey, I have this proposal. I want you to help me engage in the biggest heist of the century. And they're all excited, and they all agreed to help out the con man because, they all stand to gain. And their main focus, of course, is, absolute control of absolutely everything. But what they don't realize is, when you deal with a con man, they're not just going to con on your behalf, they're going to con you too. And so what does the con man do? The con man has his own side deal with another thief, like a big, big thief, a thief who, like him, is a ruler. Remember, the con man is the naked emperor. And so as a ruler of a realm, he knows other rulers of other realms, and he has relationships with other rulers of other realms. And so there's this other ruler, Rasputin, who's an older ruler who's been around for a long time. He's really experienced. And it turns out that this other ruler has a lot of experiences engaging in heists like this. He's kind of like the old G thief who's been around the block. So of course, con man is like, if I'm going to get help, I'm going to get help from the person who's been doing it the longest. So he makes this side deal with Rasputin about helping him with this giant heist, but he doesn't initially tell the other thieves. And so they just think that it's their own little heist, and they don't realize that they're collaborating in an international heist. Sometimes you have to laugh because it's tragic and simultaneously absurd. And so there's one thing that all of these thieves have in common. They all, and this is why they work well together, is because they all have the ultimate goal of turning the people into automatons. They seek to have control through oppression. And so in this realm, at this time in history, in this fairy tale, there were different ways that you could keep people down. And one of the ways that you could keep people down was to take away all their rights so that they were, like serfs of the land, and they just had to farm the land and listen to the rulers. And then in some of the more advanced realms where they weren't relying primarily on serfdom, they had rights. People had rights. And so they had to find another way to keep the people down. And so they used technology. And so some of these thieves were interested in using technology to turn the people into automatons, using things that they called AI and robots and media. And then this other ruler from this distant land, Rasputin, who had been in this rulership for many, many years, had learned how to hold people down as serfs. And so they all had like different ways that they wanted to pull off this heist. And they all had different strategies and different gifts that they brought to the table. But they ultimately all shared this same kind of, like Geist heist, worldview. They all had this way of envisioning the realm. And their vision was one in which they were very, very powerful, and certain of their friends were very, very powerful, but that all of the other people were powerless. And this was the thing they all shared. They may have had different ways. They were all raised differently. They had different parents. They went to different schools. They were trained in different vocations. They had different areas of expertise, but they all shared this vision of the people and how to control the people so that they could be all powerful and they could rule across the realm. And this is really important because it's key to the liberation of the people. You see, even the star beings who got involved in this, because this was such a major heist, it wasn't only international, but it had interplanetary repercussions. That's a big heist, right? It's not like, oh, I'm gonna go break into this store and steal some diamonds, right? It's not, oh, I'm gonna break into all the stores that this one diamond store owns, like every branch and franchise. It's not even that. It's bigger than that. It's, I'm gonna break into every single store everywhere, and I'm gonna break into the diamond mines at the source, and I'm gonna fleece the miners on their way out of the mines, and I'm gonna go, steal the diamonds from the people who already bought the diamonds and they're like at home and they're safe. Like, this is the level of the heist, right? Oh. But it was even bigger than that because it had repercussions for other worlds. And so this is why the star beings showed up. And really, like, the people on Earth, they just felt like they were watching really a crazy TV show, because how were all these characters in the same movie? Like, who wrote this? I mean, you've got oligarchs from other countries, you've got tech giants, you've got billionaires, you've got naked emperors, and now you got star beings? Really? But this is the kind of story this is. It may seem absurd when you first hear this story, but as you listen to the story, you realize that it makes a lot of sense. So the star beings came because they wanted to avert any type of, major pew-pew, shoot 'em up, bang up, world conflagration. And what they said is, like, we want to be of help, we want to be of assistance, but we can't interfere. We can't interfere. The people have to stand up for themselves. They have to be the ones to say no. And they said if the people don't stand up for themselves and say no, it's like an implicit yes. And this is kind of like that really jacked up date grape philosophy that if you don't say no loud enough, I'm going to consider that consent. Even in the star being world, there are some shady characters. So there are these shady ones who are like, hey, we're going to help the Naked Emperor and his thief friends to take over things because it's going to benefit us. So we have a lot of people with a lot of vested interest in what's going down right now. But here's the thing. Everybody who is trying to help us has said the same thing. The star beings who are trying to help us, the blue team who is trying to help us, everyone has said the same thing, and that is that the people have to speak. The people have to be involved. It can't be some hero that flies in and saves us. We have to save ourselves. And this is where the newest character comes in. The masked pew-pew man in the middle of New York City committing a major act of shock and awe. And then, instead of people being outraged and wanting to assist the authorities in retaining this man, we have people who are celebrating him as a hero. And as difficult as that may be to understand, it's a symbol and a sign that the people are rising up and the people are exerting their power. There are so many different ways to exert your power. And it's funny that people just got on social media in a unified way and all said, hey, he's a hero. And somehow that resulted in change. And so this is just an example of the way in which the people can speak out and make change. And there are so many ways. And we are seeing this in Romania, in Georgia, in South Korea, in Syria. The truth will come out, but not just from above. The truth will come out because of us, because of all of us standing up and demanding it. What are you doing to demand the truth?